It's Thursday, so let's crack open those archives and see what happened this week in working class history. And we begin way back in 1848 with the publication of the Communist Manifesto, written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. It's one of the top five most influential books ever written. You know what? Probably top three. It raised the class consciousness of workers around the world and inspired revolutions on nearly every continent, and we all hope to see it continue. Next up, 1860, with the largest pre Civil War strike in U.S. history. It involved shoemakers in New England who worked 16-hour days and earned just $3 a week. Actually, that's what the men shoemakers made. Women made only $1 a week. Initially, 3,000 workers walked off the job. They spread news of the strike across the region, and within a week, 20,000 shoemakers joined the work stoppage. Boston police were called to break the strike, but were confronted by thousands of people in the streets. Strike lasted into April, when workers accepted a 10% wage increase in return to the job. Sadly, the pay raise only applied to the male shoemakers. Moving forward now to 1965, when this week, that year, civil rights activist and anti capitalist Malcolm X was assassinated. While his focus was on black liberation in the US, he also talked broadly about a global struggle that transcends race that pits the oppressed against the oppressors. And one said, "You can't have capitalism without racism." Malcolm X was shot dead while he was giving a speech at the Audubon Ballroom in Washington Heights, New York City. Although three men were arrested, charged, and convicted in the murder, they were later exonerated. And questions persist about the role that local police and U.S. government agencies played in the assassination. And this week, Malcolm X's family announced a lawsuit against the FBI, the CIA, and the NYPD alleging a conspiracy to kill Malcolm X and later suppress evidence. And finally, let's jump ahead to 1990 and the conclusion of the Pittston coal plant strike in Virginia. The labor action was prompted by the company reducing the health benefits of workers and retirees and not negotiating a fair new labor contract. UMWA president at the time, Richard Trumka, called a strike in 1989. Thousands of union workers participated, and so too did tens of thousands of non-union workers who went on a wildcat strike and adopted more radical methods such as industrial sabotage and mass sit-ins. The strike lasted 10 months and ended with the Pittston Company agreeing to a new contract that reinstated benefits for workers. It also led to the passage of the Coal Act in 1992, which forced companies to provide health and retirement benefits to coal workers. To learn more about these stories or any other events that happened this week in working class history, follow the project on Twitter, listen to the podcast, and subscribe on Patreon. We'll be back with more next week.